Principal Taiwan Kim stood at his office window on the third floor of Seoul International Academy. The morning sun reflected off the school's protective glass dome, creating small rainbows on his desk. He watched as students walked through the front gates, passing through the invisible security scanners that looked like normal metal frames. The school bell rang at exactly 8:00 a.m. Principal Kim smiled as he checked the security screens on his wall. Everything was working perfectly, just as it had for the past 5 years under his leadership. The screens showed all parts of the school: the classrooms, the laboratories, the sports fields, and the underground facilities that most students didn't know about. In room 204, Dr. Jaehyun Park prepared for her morning physics class. She wrote equations on the transparent screen while her students settled into their seats. Today, she announced, we will learn about quantum mechanics. This knowledge helped us understand alien technology when we first met them 20 years ago. The students sat up straighter, suddenly more interested. They always enjoyed stories about Earth's first contact with aliens. Dr. Park was one of the few teachers who had actually worked with alien technology before becoming a teacher. Down in the security office, Hyun-Ki Lee checked all the morning reports. His computer showed green status lights across the board. The shield generators were working, the emergency systems were ready, and the underground bunkers were fully stocked. He took a sip of his morning coffee, remembering his training days in the Earth Defense Force. Security Chief Lee called a voice over his computer. It was Do-Hyun Choi, the engineering teacher. The new upgrades to the West Wing sensors are complete. Would you like to test them? Yes, please, Lee replied. He watched as the new sensors came online, adding another layer of protection to the school. The sensors could detect anything from small drones to large spacecraft, disguised as ordinary weather monitoring equipment. In the schoolyard, Mei Risong led her morning defense class. 20 students moved in perfect sync, practicing moves that looked like normal exercise, but were actually combat techniques. Song had designed these classes to seem like regular physical education to any outsiders. In reality, she was preparing her students for something she hoped would never happen. Principal Kim left his office to do his morning walk through the school. He stopped at several classrooms, watching as teachers taught their lessons. In one room, students learned Earth history. In another, they studied advanced mathematics. Every subject included hidden lessons about protecting Earth and understanding potential threats. The principal paused at Dr. Park's classroom. Through the window, he saw her explaining quantum entanglement using 2 spinning balls. The students were completely focused on her lesson. Kim remembered why they had hired her, not just because she was brilliant, but because she knew how to teach complex ideas in simple ways. As he walked back to his office, Kim thought about how much the school had changed since the first alien contact. From the outside, Seoul International Academy looked like any other prestigious school. The security scanners looked like normal doorways. The shield generators were hidden inside decorative pillars. Even the weapon systems were disguised as ordinary school equipment. Everything seemed normal, peaceful, and ordinary. That was exactly how Principal Kim wanted it to look. 20 years of experience had taught humanity that the best defense was one that enemies couldn't see until it was too late. The morning continued quietly. Students changed classes, teachers taught their lessons, and security systems silently watched over everything. No one knew that this ordinary day would soon become anything but ordinary. The first sign of trouble came during the morning assembly. Principal Kim stood on the stage, addressing the gathered students about the upcoming science fair. The lights in the assembly hall flickered once, then twice. Nobody paid much attention, until all the screens in the room turned blue at the same time. In the security office, Hyun-Ki Lee's coffee cup stopped halfway to his mouth. His monitors were showing strange readings. The school's power consumption had suddenly dropped by 30%, even though all systems were running. He pressed several buttons on his keyboard, checking the backup systems. "Sir," he called Principal Kim through the secure communication line. We have unusual energy readings. The pattern matches. It matches the records from previous alien encounters. Dr. Park was in the middle of her second class when her quantum measurement devices started beeping. The small box on her desk, which looked like a simple clock to most people, was actually detecting disturbances in space-time. She watched as the numbers on its display climbed higher and higher. "Everyone," she said calmly to her students, "please open your emergency procedure manuals. This is not a drill." The students, well trained for this moment, quietly took out their tablets and pulled up the glowing blue emergency screens. Outside, the sky began to change. It wasn't obvious at first, just a slight darkening, as if clouds were gathering. But there were no clouds in the weather forecast that day. Security Officer Lee watched through the school's cameras as a shadow passed over the sports field. The shadow was too regular, too geometric to be natural. In the engineering workshop, teacher Do-hyun Choi activated his monitoring station. Hidden panels in the walls slid open, revealing screens filled with technical data. His students continued their work, pretending not to notice. They had practiced this many times. Act normal, stay calm, and let the school's defenders do their job. Mei Ray Song's physical education class was playing basketball when she noticed the change in air pressure. Her military training kicked in immediately. "Indoor exercises today," she announced cheerfully, guiding her students toward the gymnasium. The gymnasium's walls were reinforced with special metals that could block most forms of scanning. Principal Kim returned to his office quickly but calmly. He pressed his hand against a section of his desk, and the whole room transformed. The windows darkened automatically. His regular computer screen slid away, replaced by a military-grade command center interface. Years of training had prepared him for this moment. "All staff, Protocol 7 is now in effect," he announced through the school's hidden communication system. Protocol 7 meant possible alien contact, not yet hostile, but requiring full defensive readiness. The students continued their classes just as they had been trained. On the surface, everything looked normal. But underneath the calm exterior, Seoul International Academy was preparing for battle. In every classroom, teachers casually closed the blinds. In the laboratories, students quietly saved their work and switched their computers to secure mode. Security Officer Lee's monitors kept showing more unusual readings. The shadow above the school was growing larger. The energy disturbances were getting stronger. He watched as the school's hidden defense systems came online one by one, disguised as ordinary equipment. Dr. Park's quantum sensors were now flashing red. She knew what that meant. Something big was coming through space-time, right above their school. She sent a quick message to Principal Kim. "Sir, the readings match the patterns from the textbooks. They're here." The morning sun was now completely hidden by whatever was hovering above the school. Through the reinforced windows, students could see that the sky had turned a strange, dark purple color. The last time this had happened on Earth was 20 years ago, during the first alien contact. Principal Kim stood at his window, watching the sky change. He took a deep breath and pressed the final activation button on his desk. Around the school, hidden weapons powered up, shield generators hummed to life, and emergency protocols shifted from standby to active. The ordinary school day was over. The real test was about to begin. Commander Kix stood on the bridge of his warship, looking down at Seoul International Academy through his view screens. His gray, metallic skin reflected the soft purple light of the ship's controls. He had studied human schools for months, watching them from hidden satellites. These buildings were where humans kept their young ones. Surely they would be easy targets. "Commander," said his second-in-command, "our scans show minimal defenses, just simple metal walls and glass windows. Should we begin the attack?" Kix made a sound that might have been a laugh. "These humans think they're so clever, hiding their strongest weapons in their military bases. They never expected us to find their real weakness, their schools." He pressed a button, and a large hologram of the school appeared in front of him. Below, in Principal Kim's office, the emergency screen showed a clear image of the alien ship, It was huge, about 3 times the size of the school, and shaped like a dark purple diamond. The ship's surface seemed to absorb light, making it hard to look at directly. "Sir," Security Officer Lee's voice came through the communication system. "Our sensors have identified the ship. It's a Harvester-class warship. They think we're defenseless." Principal Kim nodded slowly. "Good. Let them think that." He pressed another button on his desk. "Dr. Park, are the quantum shields ready?" In her classroom, Dr. Park was already working at her hidden control panel. "Yes, sir. They won't see the shields until they hit them, just like we planned." Commander Kix gave the order to power up his ship's weapons. On his screens, the school looked completely ordinary. He could see students in their classrooms, teachers at their desks, and everything running normally. This would be an easy victory for his fleet. "Humans are so predictable," Kix told his crew. "They spend all their resources protecting military targets, leaving their education centers defenseless. Today, we will show them their mistake." But Kix had made a serious error. He hadn't wondered why his scans couldn't see below the school's first floor. He hadn't questioned why the energy readings from the building were slightly unusual. He had ignored all the small signs that might have warned him. In the school's hidden command center, Principal Kim watched the alien ship's weapon systems power up. He sent a quiet message to all staff. "Remember your training. Protect the students. Wait for my signal." Dr. Park gathered her students in the quantum lab, disguised as a regular physics classroom. Today, she told them with a small smile, "We're going to see real quantum shields in action." The students, despite their training, couldn't hide their excitement. Commander Kix raised his hand, ready to give the final attack order. His crew stood ready at their stations. On his screens, the school still looked peaceful and unprotected. He could already imagine how quickly it would fall. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Show these humans what happens when they leave their young ones undefended." The alien ship's weapons powered up with a bright purple glow. Energy began gathering at its front point, aimed directly at the school. Kix watched with satisfaction as the weapon reached full power. He never noticed the small smile on Principal Kim's face as the first shot was fired. He never saw the knowing looks exchanged between the teachers. And most importantly, he never realized that his ship's sensors were showing him exactly what the school wanted him to see. The Harvester fleet was about to learn why attacking the human school was the last mistake they would ever make. Principal Kim watched calmly as the alien ship's purple energy beam shot toward the school. The moment before impact, he pressed a single red button on his desk. "Shields up," he said quietly. The alien weapon hit what looked like empty air above the school, and stopped. A bright blue dome of energy appeared around the entire building, absorbing the attack completely. Inside the school, the lights didn't even flicker. In the quantum lab, Dr. Park's students watched through special screens as their teacher's invention worked perfectly. The quantum shields, which she had spent years developing, turned the alien weapon's energy into power for the school's defense systems. "Transfer the excess power to the secondary systems," Dr. Park ordered, her fingers moving quickly across her control panel. The students helped her, just as they had practiced many times before. The aliens' attack was making their shields stronger, not weaker. Security Officer Lee activated the school's defense grid. Hidden panels in the walls opened, revealing rows of advanced weapons. But these weren't ordinary guns. They were specially designed to disable alien technology without destroying it. Earth needed to capture alien ships intact to study them. All security teams in position, Lee reported to Principal Kim. "The underground bunkers are ready for the students." In the engineering workshop, Teacher Choi and his students monitored the shield's strength. "The aliens are using a Class 3 energy weapon," Choi told Principal Kim through the communication system. "Our shields can handle 10 times that power." Commander Kix stared at his view screens in disbelief. His ship's most powerful weapon had failed to even scratch the school. "Impossible," he shouted. "Scan that shield. Where did it come from?" But his crew couldn't answer him. Their scanners couldn't understand the quantum technology that Dr. Park had created. It was unlike anything they had seen before. Principal Kim's voice suddenly came through on all frequencies, broadcasting directly to the alien ship. "Commander Kix," he said calmly, "you have attacked an Earth education center. This is your only warning. Withdraw now or face the consequences." In the gymnasium, Miri Song led her students through the hidden doors in the floor. These doors led to underground training rooms, designed to keep the students safe while allowing them to continue their education even during an attack. "Remember your drills," Som told them as they moved quickly but calmly down the stairs. "This is what we practiced for. Stay together, help each other, and follow instructions." Dr. Park's quantum sensors detected more energy building up in the alien ship. "They're preparing a second attack," she reported. "This one is stronger." Principal Kim nodded. "Good. Let them waste their energy. Security Officer Lee, prepare the capture nets. Teacher Choi, power up the disruption field. Dr. Park, increase shield strength to level 2. The school transformed around them. What had looked like a normal building just minutes ago now revealed its true nature, a fortress designed to protect Earth's future generations and capture any alien foolish enough to attack it. In the alien ship, Commander Kix ordered his weapons to fire at full power. He refused to believe that a simple school could resist his attack. His pride wouldn't let him retreat, even as his crew began to look worried. On every floor of the school, students and teachers moved with purpose and confidence. This was no longer just a place of learning. It was humanity's first line of defense against those who thought Earth's children would be easy targets. Principal Kim stood at his command center, watching as the alien ship prepared its second attack. "Let them come," he thought. "We'll show them why this will be the last time anyone attacks a human school." Commander Kix's second attack hit the school with 5 times more power than the first. Purple energy crashed against the blue shield like waves against a cliff. The alien commander expected the shield to break instantly. Instead, the energy seemed to disappear into the shield, making it glow brighter. "Impossible," Kix shouted as his ship's weapons began to overheat. "How is a simple school doing this?" He ordered his crew to launch fighter pods, small ships that could attack from different directions at once. Principal Kim watched the alien fighters emerge from the main ship. He had expected this. "Dr. Park, activate the secondary shields. Teacher Choi, prepare the capture systems. Security Officer Lee, you may begin Defense Pattern 3. In her quantum lab, Dr. Park smiled as she activated more shield layers. Each layer was designed to absorb different types of alien weapons. The more the aliens attacked, the more power the shields collected. "Power levels rising," she reported. "The aliens are giving us more energy than we could have generated in a month." 20 alien fighter pods surrounded the school, their weapons glowing purple. They attacked all at once, expecting to overwhelm the shield. Instead, something strange happened. The blue shield split into many smaller bubbles, each one catching a fighter pod like a net. "Capture fields working perfectly," Teacher Choi announced from his engineering station. The fighter pods tried to escape, but their engines couldn't break free. The pods hung in the air, trapped by technology they couldn't understand. Security Officer Lee activated the school's hidden weapon systems. Panels opened in the walls, looking like simple air vents, but instead of air, they released clouds of tiny robots. These robots surrounded each trapped fighter pod, shutting down their weapons one by one. Inside the alien mothership, Commander Kix's crew was starting to panic. Their sensors showed impossible things. The school's power levels were higher than a military base. The shield technology was more advanced than anything they had seen, and now their fighter pods were being captured like insects in a web. "Launch the ground troops," Kix ordered in desperation. Doors opened in his ship's sides, and alien soldiers began dropping toward the school grounds. They wore purple armor and carried energy weapons, ready to break into the building. Principal Kim pressed another button on his desk. The school grounds suddenly changed. What looked like normal grass and paths transformed. The ground became soft in some places and super hard in others. The alien troops found themselves stuck or sliding, unable to reach the building. Mary Song watched from the gymnasium's hidden command center. Should we show them what a real ground defense looks like? She asked Principal Kim through the communication system. When he nodded, she activated the outdoor training systems. The decorative statues around the school grounds came to life. They were actually combat robots, designed to look like art until needed. The robots moved with incredible speed, disabling alien soldiers with precise strikes and capture fields. Commander Kix stared at his screens in horror. Half his fighter pods were captured. His ground troops were being defeated by school decorations, and the building's shields were now glowing so bright that his sensors couldn't even look at them directly. "Sir," his second-in-command said nervously, "we've lost contact with all ground forces. The school's defense systems are unlike anything in our records. Perhaps we should retreat." But Kix's pride wouldn't let him give up. "Prepare the main cannon," he ordered. "We'll destroy this school if it's the last thing we do." He didn't know it yet, but he was right about one thing. It would be the last thing his ship ever did. Dr. Park stood at her quantum control panel, watching the energy readings climb higher and higher. The aliens had given them more than enough power now. She looked at Principal Kim through the video screen and nodded. "Sir, we're ready to show them what a human school can really do." Principal Kim pressed a series of buttons on his command console. "Begin Operation Teachable Moment," he said calmly. Around the school, hidden systems hummed to life. The quantum shields that had been absorbing energy were about to release it back at their attackers. In the engineering center, Teacher Choi and his students activated their special project, a device that could turn alien technology against itself. They had built it using knowledge from previous alien attacks. "Disruption field at full power," Choi reported. "Their weapons are about to become very useless." Commander Kix watched in confusion as his ship's main cannon began to power up. But something was wrong. The purple energy was changing color, turning blue like the school's shields. His crew pressed buttons and pulled levers, but nothing worked. They had lost control of their own weapons. "What's happening?" Kix demanded. His view screen showed something impossible. His ship's energy was flowing out, being pulled toward the school like water down a drain. The humans weren't just defending themselves. They were taking over his systems. Security Officer Lee coordinated with Myra Song's defense teams. The captured alien fighters were being moved to secure storage areas under the school. Their technology would help Earth build even better defenses. "All prisoner pods ready," Lee reported. "No casualties on either side, just as planned." Inside the quantum lab, Dr. Park explained to her students what was happening. "The aliens thought they could overpower us," she said. "Instead, they gave us exactly what we needed. Their own energy will now power our city's shields for the next year." The alien ship tried to retreat, but it was too late. Blue energy beams shot up from the school's grounds, creating a cage of light around the massive vessel. Teacher Choi's disruption field had shut down their engines. They hung in the air, powerless and trapped. Principal Kim stood up from his command chair. "Commander Kix," he broadcast to the alien ship, "your attack on this school has failed. Your weapons are disabled. Your fighters are captured. Your ground forces have been contained. Do you surrender?" In his ship, Kix stared at the school in disbelief. His mighty vessel had been defeated by a building full of human children and teachers. The weapons that had conquered 3 other worlds couldn't even scratch this one school's defenses. "How?" Kix asked, his voice shaking. "How did you do this?" Principal Kim's voice was calm but firm as he replied. "We are teachers, Commander Kix. Our job is to protect and prepare the next generation. Did you think we would leave our students defenseless? Everything you see here, the shields, the weapons, the defenses, was built to keep our children safe." Dr. Park's quantum systems began the final phase. The alien ship's power core was being safely drained, leaving just enough energy for basic life support. Earth would study this technology, learn from it, and use it to make their schools even safer. The battle was nearly over, but Earth's education system had taught the aliens one final lesson: never underestimate a human school's ability to protect its students. Commander Kix made his final desperate move. He activated his ship's self-destruct sequence, thinking he could at least destroy the school by exploding his vessel. "If we can't win," he announced to his crew, "we'll make sure they lose too." But Principal Kim had expected this. 20 years of studying alien behavior had taught humans that defeated commanders often tried to self-destruct their ships. He nodded to Dr. Park through the video screen. "Begin containment procedure." Dr. Park's fingers moved quickly across her control panel. The quantum shields around the alien ship changed shape, forming a special bubble that would contain any explosion. "Containment field at maximum strength," she reported. "The blast won't even reach our outer shields." Teacher Choi's engineering systems detected the alien ship's rising energy levels. "Self-destruct sequence detected," he announced. "But our disruption field is already stopping it. Their own safety systems are shutting down the sequence." Inside the alien ship, Kix watched in horror as his final option failed. The self-destruct countdown stopped at 30 seconds. His crew looked at him with fear in their eyes. They had never faced an enemy who could so completely defeat their technology. Security Officer Lee's screen showed the alien crew's life signs. "Sir," he reported to Principal Kim, "they're panicking. Should we show them our final surprise?" Principal Kim stood up from his command chair. "Yes," he said. "Let's show them why Earth's schools are the safest places in the galaxy." He pressed a button, and the school's outer walls became transparent. The alien crew could now see inside every classroom. They saw students calmly continuing their lessons in underground bunkers. They saw teachers operating advanced defense systems while explaining the physics behind them. They saw children learning about alien technology while that same technology failed to harm their school. "Commander Kix," Principal Kim's voice echoed through the alien ship, "look around you. This is not just a school. This is humanity's way of protecting its future. Every school on Earth is like this one. We turned our places of learning into fortresses because we knew someday someone would think our children were easy targets." Myra Song's combat robots surrounded the alien ship, their weapons powered by the energy Kix's own attacks had provided. The captured fighter pods were being studied by engineering students who were already learning how to improve Earth's defenses. In her quantum lab, Dr. Park gathered her students around a screen showing the alien ship's power core. "This," she said, "is why we study quantum physics. Understanding how their technology works lets us defend against it. Today's attack will be tomorrow's lesson." Commander Kix slumped in his command chair. His mighty warship, which had destroyed actual military bases on other worlds, had been defeated by a school. Not just defeated, completely disabled and captured, its technology turned into teaching material for human students. "Ike." Kix's voice shook as he spoke. "I surrender. We surrender." Principal Kim nodded. "A wise decision, Commander. Now, would you like to learn why attacking the human school was your biggest mistake? Our students are preparing a presentation right now about all the flaws in your attack strategy. Education is, after all, our specialty." The alien crew looked at each other in disbelief. They had expected to conquer a helpless school. Instead, they were about to become part of its curriculum. 1 month after the attack, Seoul International Academy had returned to its normal routine. Well, almost normal. The captured alien ship now floated permanently above the school, turned into the world's most impressive teaching tool. Its purple hull had been painted in the school colors, a reminder of humanity's victory. Principal Kim sat in his office, writing his report for the Global Education Defense Council. "The attack on our school," he wrote, "proved that our preparation was worth every effort. The aliens' technology has given us new ways to protect our students, and their mistake has made all Earth schools safer." In Dr. Park's physics lab, something extraordinary was happening. She had divided her class into teams, each one studying a different part of the alien ship's technology. The students were learning more about quantum physics from examining the ship than they could have learned from 100 textbooks. Remember, she told her class, the aliens thought our school was defenseless because they didn't understand what education really means. They saw only children and teachers. They didn't see the strength that comes from learning and preparing. Security Officer Lee had turned the captured fighter pods into training simulators. Students now learned alien technology by practicing in real alien vessels. The pods' weapons had been converted to use harmless light beams, perfect for teaching combat techniques without any danger. Commander Kix and his crew had been sent to Earth's special diplomatic prison, where they spent their days helping humans understand alien technology. But their most important job was sending a message to their home world. Never attack Earth's schools. They are not what they seem. Teacher Choi's engineering class had grown 3 times larger. Students from other schools came to learn how the defensive systems had worked. The alien ship's engine became the centerpiece of his lessons on advanced technology. Today's attack, he would say, is tomorrow's upgrade to our defenses. Myra Song's combat robots patrolled the school grounds, but now they carried teaching materials instead of weapons. She had programmed them to help younger students with their studies. The same robots that had captured alien soldiers now helped children learn mathematics and science. The school's success had changed education across Earth. Every school now had similar defenses, designed by the teachers and students of Seoul International Academy. The aliens had attacked one school but had ended up making every school on the planet stronger. Principal Kim often visited the quantum lab, where Dr. Park's students were making new discoveries every day. The aliens gave us their most advanced technology, he would say, because they didn't understand that a school's greatest weapon is the minds of its students. 1 year after the attack, Seoul International Academy hosted the first interplanetary education conference. Teachers and students from across the galaxy came to learn how a single school had defeated a warship. The alien ship still floating above the school served as a permanent reminder. "Welcome to Earth's education system," Principal Kim told the gathered delegates. "Here, we don't just teach history, we make it. We don't just study science, we advance it. And most importantly, we protect our students not just with shields and weapons, but with knowledge and understanding." The last alien attack on a human school had failed completely, but it had succeeded in teaching the galaxy's most important lesson. Earth's schools were not soft targets. They were humanity's greatest strength, protected by the most powerful force in the universe, the combination of knowledge and determination to keep the next generation safe.